Sorry about jumping off there, guys. All right. And we're back, I think. Yes. All right, that was fun. Cozy 24. And we'll just cruise. CDU1, CDU2. And arc map. Wonder if the boys are going to hop in here and join me on my server if they're doing their own flight. I guess I can check that, can I? $65 nautical miles. This is cool, the VLF frequencies. I don't know how the sim does that. This stuff is really old tech. The omega frequencies, those are cool. Oh, I should get my feet off the rudders here. Let's make sure I have. I didn't. Yaw dampener on. Let's run through the checklist. Make sure we didn't forget anything. Doing stuff for memory is never a good idea. We did all those. Actually, we can probably, that's some low, that's okay. Take off. Climb. Cruise. Going less than 97 because we're going bloody fast. 238, 271 true airspeed. That's pretty bloody fast. Definitely looks like we got a crosswind up here though. Anyhow, auto feathers off, flights is required. Engines, everything is green. This kind of stuff over here is really cool to check out though. So yesterday when I was flying in Africa and I had everything decide not to work on me anymore, I had to go to, what was it? not gear, alternate gear extension. So this was the checklist to pull up. You got to run through this. So I was coming in for a landing, and I had gear down, indicating, but no green on the gear. And sure enough, having a look from the exterior, you could see I was about to do a belly landing in a irreplaceable aircraft. So here we are, below 200, landing gear control lever down, circuit breaker. Circuit breaker control pop, excuse me. And then pump this handle down here enough times to make you sick. And it worked. So that was cool. And I like that it was a genuine failure. I was not trying to do that. Clearly, I screwed something up. I don't need those open. That's nice. This aircraft also has automatic ice detection. So it'll display a cast message of icing. I believe you still have to determine where you have said icing. Ooh. Pretty islands. I believe there's a mountain out there somewhere. Let's go. Indicated airspeed. I want to go down to 6,000 feet at a bloody high rate of speed. So cut throttles and dive towards the ground. $10,000 is just no fun. Can't see enough. 6,000 should hopefully get us through the clouds. And it wants me to tell me, hey, your gear's not down. It's all right. I do want to have a look at these engines. Oh. Let's go. All happy. It's all happy. 24C. Got oxygen. Instrument panel. So let's blow some of the cold air into the instrument panel. Drop down some temperatures in there. Let's leave that on for now. It's a little warm in there. 116 degrees. Auto target 74, cockpit 80, cabin 75. Well, it's neat. I never noticed the brake temperature. That's kind of cool. Ear comfort. Oh yeah. That's always neat. I like when they model the Bose stuff. I feel like that is how I fly. It's with the set of Bose noise canceling. So definitely makes it more comfortable. Let's go down another 1,000 feet. Getting close to that red line. Icing, there it is. Warning of icing. So I got windshield heat's already at low. We can put our actuators in standby, which would be for these little doors right here. But right now there's no foreign objects, so I don't particularly care. I've already got the windshield on, so it's just a advisory notice. And this just telling me I got the blower motor on because my avionics are getting good and warm. Let's pick up some speed again. Let's also have a look at the radar controls. Do a ground map. That's not the one I want. Radar. Shooting through the clouds. I'll say this stuff feels real. Sometimes I forget this is a simulator. Oh, today Trump signed an executive order slapping more tariffs on something else. That's fun. Life gets more expensive. Thankfully, that doesn't seem to affect the prices of flight simulator stuff. So, radar 2. Test mode. No. Auto tilt. Icing. Shooting through the clouds, get a lot of icing warnings. Doesn't seem to be any weather. I mean, I'm definitely flying through it. We're making our turn. Hopefully poke out of these clouds, because that's no fun. Getting that cooled down in there for sure. Ooh, look at that. You can see the flutter. Oh, that's cool. Unless the autopilot trying to prevent me from hitting random shit. So we sure are moving. 240 knots. 5,000 feet off the ground. Well, 5,000 feet in the air. Shouldn't say off the ground because there's a lot of water underneath where we are right now, I believe. Oh no, we've got land. Land ahoy! That's one of the things that was kind of problematic, was the import into FS2024, at least on Xbox. You had issues with the registration numbers, so I tried to run my registration number on the plane, and it just doesn't work. It causes it to display like that. I imagine you'll fix it soon. It's the same issue with the Duke turbine, actually all the Dukes. So it seems like it's something Blacksquare related that causes the issue. So hopefully that's fixed in an update, because it ruins the realism ever so slightly. Although I don't usually fly my plane from sitting back here. Apparently Beechcraft intended this aircraft to replace the King Air series. But my understanding is the exceptionally high cost of this plane, and at the absolute worst possible time for the plane to be made, with the economy being the way that it was, and just didn't work well. Let's drop another 1,000 feet here. See if we can't get below these clouds. Nope. Well, let's try 3,500. It's definitely got closer to the ground, because no. Okay. So if that last 500 breaks us out. Hopefully it does. Definitely want to break out of the clouds because the scenery over here apparently is quite breathtaking. I've only ever flown over it at extremely high altitude, so. Well, there's 3,000. Starting to see. I think we should start breaking out. Look at that. We'll have to do some climbing for I believe that mountain that's coming up in front of us, actually. Looks like a hell of a mountain. Or perhaps we'll just deviate, go around it. So I don't believe that airport. I do believe it's on the other side of that hill. So, smack our heading bug. Let's switch to autopilot's heading mode. Should give us a right bank. Get us clear of the mountain at least. Other than the bloody cold temperatures, this looks like it'd be a beautiful place to visit. Everything's happy. Safety valve. Well, those temperatures come down enough, I think. Turn that fan off. Boy, does it go up quick, though, huh? I will come back and check on it in a bit. Cabin's a nice 24 degrees. Fly a little slower past here, see if the views are. with the mountains. But to be fair, I think we're going to have to get some altitude here because we need to go over here. And that doesn't look like you can fly through it. $2,000-foot-a-minute climb at over 200 knots. And this is why turboprops are amazing. Really should have a little more height up here, but that will clear the mountains, I do believe. It's too bad you can't spot animals. I've yet to see a single animal in Sim. I have seen some people doing Alaska flights that have said that they have seen I think it was moose. I'm just going to go slightly to the left of that little hill there. Burn. 24. Got a little radio altitude. So let's see how close we cut it underneath what we're flying. 2,000. See if we can't even out those. Let's get the field flow close. 374, 371. That's pretty close. Oh. ITT is close. I feel like my radar's not working. Okay, no sweeps. Cloud clutter suppression. Sweet. So I guess there just really isn't much of anything out there. Switch back over to nav. So I guess clear of the mountains that are in front of us. I guess back on course. Ish. I do believe that looks to be a mountain. Looks like we're doing some button flying. Because why not? What views, man. I'd love the views of this place. Love snow. Just don't like being in it. $16. Over 1,000 pounds of fuel remaining. That's a good thing. Where are we at here? That's a very large mountain there. Those are also some large mountains there. Wish they gave you a topo map so you could see the actual peak heights. I believe other people do have that ability when you've got Navigraph and all that integrated. Well, I think for safety's sake, we should probably get some altitude. Burn some more of that jet fuel. To wonder about that. Let's have a look. Engine torque limits. All right. Altitude. This is where things get a little rocky as far as the messes underneath you. Could zip along the coastline, I suppose. But trying to have a look at the flight instructions. Not sure what the avionics bay temperatures are supposed to be. I mean, red's usually a bad color. So I mean, I would assume 120 degrees Fahrenheit. That's really warm. All right, we're right on our speed limit there. We're just touching the 147. I do kind of want to take this thing up a little higher and see what it will do in the flight levels. Because I know it's got a indicated true air speed of was it 335 knots. So definitely has a speed. We're gonna have to pull back ever so slightly, I think, on the power. Seven 13, 14. It's all right there. Close enough. Oh, looks like I didn't want to capture we're well off course there. So we're going to go heading. Let's get us back on course. There we go. I wonder what that mountain is out there. It's going to give me false paths. I'm guessing because there's rocks in the way. Let's have a look as we fly over it and see. Pretty photos. I guess it's really not a short way around if you can't get through there. So I guess I thought coming through here, make your way through here, and you could just, oh yeah, nope. Go all the way around. It's probably easier just to oops. Probably easier just to go this way. I'm over here anyway. Look at the details, man. That's awesome. I mean, the only other detail that's not so awesome is I'm about to fly through a mountain. Seems to be the downside of all the airports in Alaska all seem to be next to very large mountains. Still nice, comfortable 24 degrees. Maybe we'll follow the ridge line of the mountain here as soon as we clear. It'd be kind of interesting. Probably gonna get some ridge lift. Maybe not. It is bloody cold. What is the outside air temperature? I mean, I guess it does display it up here somewhere. Oh, 0C. It was warmed up. What does that little button say? Bright. Outside air temperature. speed bugs. Where are we again here? Perfect. So I think now we can try to go a little bit more back on heading. Should give us an intercept at the airport that is out here. Which, let's see about flags. It's right out there. That'll do. I wonder how I would love to get that mic off. Mic mode. I'll have to play with that next time. I definitely prefer using the boom mic on my headset than probably the laptop mic. Unfortunately, being on Xbox, it seems like we're very limited on what kind of equipment we can make work. But hopefully Captain Norse gets back on later today. Maybe I'll dive into his stream again and chase him around in a starship. Because why not? So very strange. I know why. Flight plan. Direct to. Oh, nope. Actually, that's not quite what I want to do. There we go. Whee! Beautiful rivers. See if we can't split these peaks here. PADU, Pop Alpha. Oh, Pop Alpha, Delta uniform. Okay. Let's see here. There it comes. Turning the course. All right. Plan map. Papa Alpha, so we're just, what be 65, 70 nautical miles away. I'm curious, what are we looking like for mountains? Not bad. Let's bring it back down. 4,000 feet. Oh, no, I need this. Somewhere around there. Let's see about getting some flight following. Why not?
Anchorage Center, Beechcraft Charlie Foxtrot Tango Lima Mike is type Beechcraft Starship, 1-2 miles south of Papa Alpha Charlie Sierra, 6600. Request flight following. Beechcraft Charlie Foxtrot Tango Lima Mike, Anchorage Center, Squawk 0414. Squawk 0414, Beechcraft Tango Lima Mike. Beechcraft Tango Lima Mike. Radar contact 5 miles south of Papa Alpha Charlie Sierra 4500. Altimeter 2990. Roger, Beechcraft Tango Lima Mike.
And there's the lame built-in ATC. But it is definitely better than having nothing at all. Four 4,000 feet. Get better views. Keep it on the clouds. Sure is nice weather to fly out here, that's for sure. Looks like we got enough fuel to make it to our destination. Looks like we're picking up a tailwind though. There's a speed warning. Let's walk back that power. We're still zooming along. Then we don't need the heaters. Fuel tank. What is the avionics? Oh, it's still hot in there. Pilot. It's going to be a pressure dump. Don't want to do that. What was it over here, though? It's co-pilot. Huh. We got under an hour of fuel remaining. Looks as though we've got very much under that in flight time. Let me pull that board up. I didn't even know you could do that. Interesting. Okay. I don't know if I really want to do that. But I guess we will, because why not? Probably because of that hill, I would imagine. All right. I think that was the wrong way to go. Yeah. Somewhere around there. Catch her at the mountains. We will re-intercept. Flight path for sure. And then $250 knots across the ground. Get close to stuff below us. Whee! All right. And we're going to re-intercept our course ever so slightly. I believe the next hop after this is going to get us to or almost to Russia. Should be interesting. Hopefully it don't get shut down. Ha ha ha. Let's have a look at her. That is one thing I do wish. All the Blacksquare with how in depth they are, is having the integrated Navigraph, SimBrief, that kind of stuff would be great to see on their tablet here. I know they do have the VATSIM stuff, but this does not work for anyone on. Well, hey, you're not my wife. My wife is going to kill me. It'd be nice to have that integration in there, but staff position. That's not bad. I wonder where the beta enunciators are. I mean, it does come up in the RPM range when you go close to beta for touchdown. That was interesting. There it is. Foreign object debris. Intensity 29%. Type snow. Snow's alright. Ice is not. We're just below that cloud layer. Zoom. That looks like a little settlement of some kind down there. Far distant Alaska. I'm sure there's a runway down there somewhere. Right in front of us. And we're passing over. There it is. But now we are headed to where are we on our flight plan? Our next stop is a long leg, but our next stop is our destination. PAKO. It's the last leg of 94-ish nautical miles. Now we've steered around some mountains. Let's see how close we get. Radar altimeter should pop in there in a second. Going to be missing all of these mountains out here. Oh, what do we got down there? I've always been wondering whether or not you can see any wildlife. You can pick out independent trees when flying low enough. Thought I saw something down in this area. Is it just trees? Yeah, it's just trees. Huh. Let's pull up ATC because they don't really care about us over this way. That's okay. Let's have a look at some airport information. What are they saying right now? So it looks like preferred runway 26. It's a gravel runway, so that'll be fun. And we're right at the limits of what this aircraft could land with. That's all right. We wanted to get to our furthest position we could. Refuel and kind of run from there. We're going to have to do some island hopping. I think the next flight's going to be a little less autopilot and cruise. It's going to be a bit more kind of hop from one island to the other, because I believe there's a number of small islands on the way there. And if we're doing this as if this was a real world thing, we're going to want to probably make sure we're good on fuel. Well, I gotta say, this is this is an impressive sight, in my opinion. Um, I know graphics wise and all that kind of stuff. It's really not that big of a deal. But I also came from an original Microsoft Flight Simulator. I have flown on that where it was almost like lines on a screen. So, it's an interesting flight path. Keeps correcting. Huh. Like, what is that doing right there? Message. Whoa. What's going on? That's some funny stuff. Half that bank. That's some pretty aggressive banking. I wonder if that is because of magnetic deviation or variance, I should say. It's not deviation. That was weird. Either that or my yoke, which has been known to have phantom signals of some variety, was trying to kill me. Wouldn't be surprised. All right. Let's have, can I do approaches? No approaches in database. That does not surprise me. It is a gravel runway in the middle of nowhere. Do we have any charts? We do not. Current weather 6 degrees. Wind 290 at 5 knots. 2991 is current reporting. We'll get a little closer. Maybe we'll. Whatever. Let's get that in there now. Oh, there we go. Plane must be experiencing some wind. All right. Oh, it's doing that rock and forth. Gotta look at my yoke. Got no inputs going into it. But we do have that crosswind, 7 knots. Cape Field, where is that exactly? Well, right field low. Indeed it is. Looks like our field planning for flying higher and deciding to go lower may have not been the greatest of decisions. Let's pull back our power here. .47 nautical miles. Yeah, this is going to be a close one, that's for sure. Let's pull back our props. All right. So we're going to pull back our power because of that right there. We've got 279, and what else? 284 pounds of fuel remaining. We're burning 244 aside currently an hour. So we've got under half an hour of flight time remaining on the fuel we have, which that's very poor fuel planning on my part. You can see that little peg marker out in the distance there. It's flashing on and off right now. That is where we are going. And I don't know if we're going to have any more than a single attempt at landing because of the fuel situation. I definitely should have, my mistake, but in the payload page here, this flight was meant to be done with just myself. So there should not be 4 passengers and a co-pilot. It should only be 1 pilot, which definitely affected my range slightly, but not substantially. I think the bigger change was the fact that I was flying I planned my flight for 10,000 feet, but it was not as clear as I'd like it to be. So what I did was I improvised and just dropped out because I wanted to see the ground. A long distance flight can be a little lacking if you can't even see anything out there. But we do have ample fuel to complete this flight, thankfully. And that's what we're going to do. All fingers crossing and have to get it really well lined up on that gravel runway. And there's my left tank low warning as well. 147, 191. And 16 liters in the aft tank. Also 16 liters, Tech 32. 32 liters total. Which is not ideal. But one of the reasons why I wanted to fly the Starship for this flight, and I imagine probably quite a few others, is I've actually been chatting with a fellow who has done a lot of flying hours in a Starship. He's a gentleman who wrote a book. It's called the Starship Diaries, I believe. He was a rather wealthy individual who was in the Silicon Valley world, I guess the late 80s and early 90s. And he took his money and obviously he was interested in aviation. So he took his money and he poured it into buying one of the very few Starships that were out there. I believe a total of 38 were produced, if you include the prototypes. 35 were made available for people to purchase. And he had one of them, and he spent 2 years, 2 full years, flying the aircraft around the world. And the book kind of outlines the stories that, his stories and experiences that he had while flying, which, I mean, to me, that's freaking cool. I know there's some talk about the doing basically what I just did here, which was under fuel it, human error the situation, which obviously is not a good thing to do, but people make mistakes. And I can tell you, it's really easy to make a mistake when you're flying in a simulator, because at the end of the day, what happens if I run out of fuel? My digital representation of an airplane hits the digital representation of the ground, and I get up a little frustrated and hopefully learn from that experience and then head on upstairs to have a snack and redo it if I need to redo it, and hopefully learn from there. You don't get that opportunity when you're flying. I take a lot of grace when I fly in a simulator, I guess, to not have to worry about fuel as much. I can hop on here without spending, hours and hours and hours sitting down and planning every single leg of the flight. And as a dad and business owner and things like that, I don't have as much time as I'd like to do the things that I want to do. So it allows me to get away with being lacking on certain areas. But when I'm flying in the real world, that's not an option. even just, you know, some pattern work at the local airfield. I sit down, I have everything planned out. My weights and balances, you know, I step on the scale the night before. You know, if I'm flying the little 172s and stuff, it can make a difference, especially if I want to take up a family member or friend, um, and show them some flying. It's one of those things that you don't want to risk. Um, my preference with fueling is I want to take as much fuel as the plane can carry after you account for everybody that's going to be in it, or and the payload that you're going to be running, because um, you never know. Unlike a car, you can't really putter out and just roll up the side of the road, sort of thing, right? So fuel planning is very important. There it is. There's where we're headed to. We're 20 nautical miles away. Let's see if ATC will allow us to even have a look at that airport here. There it is. Nikolski Field in Alaska. Let's tune traffic. What do they got to say? I've got a 2991 from the information I have for the barrow at this field. Longest runway 3512, but does it have a displaced threshold? Let's see. I believe it does. Looks like on 26 there's a 6-foot tall hill, 0 feet from the runway, so coming over at 125 feet right of center. This is a privately owned airfield. Apparently winds in excess of 10 knots from 330 to 045 degrees may produce severe turbulence. Field rolling. Aircraft at one end cannot see aircraft at the other end. Runway 00826 not maintained. Runway may be soft with pounding during heavy precipitation. Or ponding during heavy precipitation. Runway heading, we're on 270 is our runway heading. Let's get that in there. Oops, no, well, I said 27. Fingers do what brain says. There we go. All right. Let's get our checklist up here. So we're approaching checklists, in flight, descent. We're going to pretend that we're descending. Pressurization is done, knobs done, standby altimeter is set. No smoking seatbelts on, power, lights as required. Before landing, approach speed confirmed. Approach speed, what are we going to approach at? Well, approach speed around 150 knots. So like 120. Touchdown, I'm hoping to touchdown right at the, like at the absolute bare minimum. But being a delta wing configuration, you got to be careful. Let's get the auto feather to arm. Landing gear, we're not there yet. Lights is required. Autopilot disconnect. Propeller sync off. Okay, 26. That's our position.
Papa Alpha Kilo Oscar traffic. Beechcraft Charlie Foxtrot Tango Lima Mike. 11 miles northeast for 1,000 inbound to land. Runway 26. Papa Alpha Kilo Oscar.
Okay, and we're also going to trim That's not bad. AP's coming off. So we're gonna do some hand flying here. Got the prop sink off because we can. Lights. We can deal with those in a second, but let's get our landing gear out. And transition. 3 green. That's a happy landing gear. Okay. Let's get our landing lights on. It's another thing I'd love on a PC, some head tracking. And what do we got for field elevation? Let's go back and have a look. It's 58 feet. No, 0 feet. Altitude. Light director off because we do not need it. Yaw dampener coming off. So we also do not need that. Let's get the tablet out of the way. We're going slow. Runway's in sight. Let's get our flaps out. You see those wings right out the left there extending. Slow speed, extra lift. Got the runway in sight. There it is. Nice gravel runway. There she is, right there. Oh. Some trim there. Some trimming. It is. Okay, cool. Electronic trim can be finicky on my yoke. There's those phantom inputs, see, right there. If I let go of center, that's fine now. Already in. Down there close to cutoff. Trimmed all right. Let's announce on final.
Papa Alpha Kilo Oscar traffic. Beechcraft Charlie Foxtrot Tango Lima Mike is on final. Runway 26.
Minimum decision altitude. Everything seems all right. Brakes are good. Pretty steep approach, but I want to use as much of that runway as I possibly can. She's a big bird. Max reverse. And we're on the ground. Let's get those flaps up. And there's a hump in the middle of the field. And look at the little town. That's so cool. Man, it would be a blast to fly here. This is a pretty flat landing. Like we just touched it right on the end of the airfield there. Let's bobble on down here. Are you Betty? Who are you? I don't know. My wife's a blonde. You're not my wife. Engage reversers. You're never supposed to do this, by the way. I'll do parking brake, set, pedal heat, overheating. All right, we are here. We have made it. One more leg, one more stop. So, Nikolski, Alaska. And I'm not gonna lie, that doesn't look like a gravel field to me, but that's okay. Pneumatic pressure low. Oh, look at that. I think my engine's flaming out. Yep, lost my right engine. That's how low we were on fuel. That's all right. We're gonna bring our props back into feather. We'll bring a fuel to cut off. We can kill our generators. Stand by. And go. It's off. Blower off. Off, off, off. Oxygen going off. Let's get our wheel chocks, pitot covers, engine covers, gear pins. Let's open our cabin door. And welcome everybody here. Battery off. Gears off. Welcome to Nikolski, Alaska. And we're here. We made it. The plane's in one piece. My co-pilot didn't vomit in my lap. We're in Alaska. Nikolski, Alaska. Let's see, do they put fuel prices over here? They've got air. I'm not allowed to smoke or make phone calls. Look at that. Telling you to ground it to somewhere on there. No engine running. What does that mean? No atomic bombs going off while fueling. That's fair, I guess. Is this oil? It's supposed to be oil. Drums of fuel. What do we got? Guess it's just whatever fuel you need. Jet A. It's all Jet A, right? A beautiful starship in Alaska. Should we have a walk over to the town, maybe? Let's have a look and see what's over here. Now, here in Alaska, there's, for every one person, there's something like, or sure, for every one grizzly bear, there is one person. For every one grizzly bear, there's 6 people. Something like that. Basically, there's just an insane number of giant furry animals that want to tear your face off. It's neat. I've never really explored anything, but even the sound of your feet changes as the surface underneath does too. Huh. That's new. Did you imagine living here? Where do you live? Middle of nowhere. Yeah, like just go there, but keep going. That's where I live. Well, they got a garage. Small though. Probably snowmobiles. There's got a satellite dish. Oh, this house is sinking into the ground. Or has really short people. Oh, look up over there. I hear birds. No, okay, I gotta do this. I gotta mess with these settings. Graphics, character, airport, fauna, density. Oh, okay. Looks like medium's the best I can do. No, turn that back on. Seatbelt visibility. Yeah. Okay. Look at that pretty machine over there. There's a rock. I think it's one of those Alaskan hovering rocks. Well, I don't think we're going to see any creatures. Nothing that seems to be living out here. Well, thanks for joining me on this flight, everybody. That was a fun one. I've been looking forward to flying the Starship. Just haven't had the time to really get in there. But now we've made it to kind of the furthest point that I've planned so far. There's just a couple more islands that we can kind of hop over. There's what's this? Atka, Alaska. I definitely want to check that out because I believe there's Atka and there's Adak. Adak, Alaska, I believe, is the furthest place in Alaska with an airport. I believe it was also a place where there's a military base. I think that's the place. Yes, they have a McDonald's. Weird thing. They have a McDonald's that's there. That's been abandoned, I guess, just because there's not enough people there or whatever. But the McDonald's is abandoned, and they've decided to just leave it as is. They just boarded it up. There's no graffiti. There's no damage. Obviously, with the very limited people that live there, nobody's interested in doing that. But they still have those old school. I don't know if you were a kid in the '90s or were alive in the '90s, you could remember those boards. But there was no digital board. There was, the Big Mac meal and then the price. So it's still got the prices from, I guess, when it shut down in the '90s, where a Big Mac was, $4.25 for a Big Mac meal with fries and a Coke. Now I don't even know if you can get a large fries for $4. It's been a while since I've been to McDonald's, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Well, thanks for the fellows that hopped in and chat there, Captain Noah and was it Jokey? I appreciate the comments and then the follow and everything. Definitely just starting out on this journey with, I guess, streaming and enjoying it so far. Meeting some pretty cool people on their streams. So looking forward to keeping this going. I might try to do another flight later on this afternoon if I can. I got wife and I are kids free this weekend, so we're gonna check out the new Tron movie and hang out. I think I'm gonna beat her at some crib. That's the weird game that we play together, and have a good meal. It should be good. And if I'm not back on today, I will definitely be on tomorrow morning and probably spend the majority of the day seeing if we can't get ourselves over to the Asian continents, over to Russia and Japan. I'd like to check out Japan for sure, because of the recent sim updates there. Apparently, the scenery is gorgeous. So it'll be cool to do some airport hopping in Japan. I think we might do some lower level kind of stuff and hop around there and see what we can check out. But all right, guys, thanks so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.